I can't wait to see the countdown on Canelo and Crawford because I want to see what the camps are like over there.
You said you favor Crawford in this fight, so how you see this going?
Crawford is doing the same exact thing and going up to basically super middleweight, face what many considered one of the greats pound for pound in Saul Canelo Alvarez.
If he beats
And that's
Canelo, that
crazy.
would be incredible, to be honest. I don't think he will. I don't see it. Canelo has been not so good in his last few fights, but I think some things are gonna become apparent.
I think Crawford has an incredible chance against Canelo. I think more so than I think that any opponent that Canelo's ever fought, including, and I will say that including Floyd Mayweather. But we'll get to that in a
I give
second.
him a good shot, but I favor Canelo, honestly.
This is the most hard to analyze as well because it's two different contrasting styles. You know what I mean? Because, obviously Canelo is, more aggressive, very flat footed, doesn't move his feet as much. I think what Crawford needs to do, and I'll reference the Modern Martial Artist's video. The thing is that Crawford is such a chess fighter that him switching stances is gonna cause a lot of problems for Canelo. Not only that Crawford is good with his feet, he is also good switching stances. And him switching stances, he's very on
He does
orthodox.
it very good. He does it very fluid, like
very fluent,
very
exactly.
naturally,
very fluent. I agree.
He doesn't shift that much, but he, like, when the opponent moves somewhere else, he just tilts his body instead of shifting, and then changes stances that way. For my liking, it's a bit too close to Canelo because one wrong shifting stances is gonna be like very dangerous against someone like Canelo. He's the heavier guy, Canelo. He's the bigger puncher, and Crawford, he does get hit sometimes.
He does, but at the same time, here's the thing though: both men
with the overhand right, for example, he can be caught. Exactly. I mean, Canelo is not gonna be as quick as some of the other guys at welterweight, for example.
But again, Crawford is expecting to
it's gonna be hard for him, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but I think Crawford needs to box so beautifully well. He has to fight beautifully well for this fight to be happening. Like, it's, and here's the thing: Jim Lampley talked about this with the Joe Rogan, his interview with Joe Rogan, where he talked with Larry Merchant, and Larry Merchant said, and Larry Merchant has called so many fights in HBO over the years, including Hagler and Leonard. This fight right here, Canelo Crawford, is the Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler of this era, because I think Crawford is going to use his switch stances. He's going to be more fluent tactically, to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to attack very good conventional and southpaw because, again, Canelo has problems with southpaw fighters. He's going to move around. Like, he's, unlike William Skull, and I watched that, I looked the highlights in that Skull, it's like Canelo was just like chasing Skull. And
I honestly think we can't get too much from that Skull fight with Canelo. I think,
because
honestly,
he was moving. Yeah,
Canelo
because
just didn't give a shit in that fight, to be honest. And
Skull was running too much. Yeah,
it's like they agreed to go to the distance. It wasn't like exciting.
And exactly, I agree. And listen, Canelo is a pressure fighter, but the thing is, with Canelo's weaknesses, he's very flat-footed. Doesn't move around as much. Skull was running way too much, but again, it sometimes will tire out Canelo because Canelo, is trying to attack Skull whenever he can. But here's the thing: I think Crawford, because he's moving up in weight, I don't know if you noticed, but he looks a little bit stronger. He's trying to go stronger from upper body to lower body. But here's the thing: Canelo's also good with his lower body, with his feet, because he rides horses. Jim Lampley was talking to Joe Rogan about how in Los Angeles he goes into the equestrian field to ride horses, and it helps his lower body.
Okay.
Because in his upper body. So, and that's why he's hard to get knocked down, because Canelo has a strong granite chin. Probably one of the best chins ever in boxing.
Yeah, I don't see Crawford like knocking down. That won't happen. I think he needs to go the distance to win, and he needs to do it very convincingly.
If I'm Crawford, I am going to go to distance with Canelo. I have to box beautifully. I have to go in and out. I have to be stronger to him. I have to take up his punches. Like, if he's gonna give me a left hook to the body, you better be a man to take it. And I think Crawford is probably the man to take it. Like, this, honestly, dude, this is the toughest test for Canelo. Not only be the most watched fight for Canelo since the Mayweather fight, this is, no, without a shadow of a doubt, is the last big fight for him, because this is gonna be one of those fights where he has to really impose Crawford's will. He has to impose his own will. Crawford has to go in and out. Canelo has to come forward and attack Crawford a little bit more, maybe go into the body and avoid Crawford with the stance switches. There's ways of beating Canelo. He can take the game plan of what Mayweather learned, getting counterpunch a lot, what Skull learned. Because listen, even though yes, Skull was running too much, he gets tired chasing people, and I think Crawford might do that, but I think Crawford's probably gonna go in and out. It's gonna come down to a decision. It might come down to a controversial decision, because again, how Vegas is, especially with Canelo, because one judge can give the entire 12-round fight to Canelo and never give Crawford an opportunity.
If
So
Crawford wants to win per decision, he needs to be very convincingly. So, and that's also risky. I mean, I favor Canelo. I favor Canelo. The thing I see with Crawford is, I wouldn't, if I was like looking to prepare like Crawford, I wouldn't like him to switch too much stances, to be honest. I would like him to like stay a lot of in the southpaw stance and move with like in and out, and only like switch stances to escape or maybe counter or something. He can't like do that too often, and if he like switches stances close up, this works very well if Crawford is like a very physically strong guy. In there, Canelo's like the stronger guy and the better body puncher. Like one mistake in there, like switching, or if he gets in too much of an exchange with Canelo is always gonna do like more damage. Like if Crawford lands like 3 punches, Canelo lands 1 good body punch. Yeah, on the scorecard he won't win like that exchange, but like in physical damage, it's gonna do more damage. It's gonna hurt Crawford a lot to the body.
Yeah, but Crawford is moving up in, like, listen, Crawford's moving up in 168. So this is gonna be the first time that Crawford's gonna move up into a division, and he's gonna be in, like, I don't know if you've seen some of his recent pictures, but he's been coming up really strong. He looks like he's focusing a lot of upper body because he knows that he's gonna have to take those body shots that Canelo's gonna give it to him.
Crawford fought like Matrimov the end of last year, and I think it was quite a close fight. I mean, I didn't score it, but I think it could have gone either way, to be honest. And Matrimov was like the bigger guy.
I think that Crawford can take away some of the mistakes he made in the Matrimov fight. Canelo can easily move up back to number 1 best fighter pound for pound if he
wins here.
But Crawford can easily, again, like Usyk, can become 3-time undisputed champion and still remains the best fighter pound for pound. This is a must-win for either man. That's what makes this fight so incredibly good, so much talked about. They're past their peak in many ways, but
I think they are on a similar rate of declining, so it would be on an even path. Canelo has looked worse in his recent fights, but I think that was like based on the opponents, to be honest.
And you said the same thing with Crawford on the Madrimov fight. So, and Eddie Hearn even said that like he didn't believe that Crawford won that fight against Madrimov. So, I think Crawford has to prove everybody wrong.
It's a much more important fight for Crawford, I think, because Crawford doesn't have like this one elite guy. Maybe he has beaten Spence, but he destroyed Spence in such an easy way. He needs Canelo more for his legacy than Canelo needs Crawford.
Exactly.
Because Canelo is already like Hall of Fame or something.
I agree as far as Canelo's easy lock for the Hall of Fame. His legacy is on the line here, I think.
Maybe one last thing. The scenario where Crawford wins, I think, is when if Canelo turns up and looks too much for like a few punches and is inactive like in a lot of his fights, where he throws like the bare minimum of punches, all hard of course, like he always does, but is not very active. And in that way, I see Crawford like convincingly take over, but in order to win, Canelo needs to be like more active, and he needs to hurt Crawford, I think. And I think he can do that. I think he will turn up in the right way.
I think so too. So it's gonna be one of those talked about fights. Obviously, we can talk more about it
closer we get to the fight. Maybe we'll see something from the training and so on. Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. Bye bye. Till next time.